Today the Baker Crew is at Fort McHenry in Baltimore, Maryland. Another Baker CRUzin adventure. It's where the Star Spangled Banner was written. Learned a lot of cool stuff.
Do you see the flag? I see the flag.
Fort McHenry is about an hour drive from Andrews Air Force Base. I wouldn't say a smooth drive because there's always traffic, but not too shabby.
The Fort McHenry Visitor Center is open daily from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As far as attire goes, dress according to the weather because it is all outside for the most part. A day pack is probably too much for this trip, but I will always recommend to bring your own water. As far as the cost of entry, the entrance fee to the fort is $15 for a 7-day pass and $45 for an annual pass. It's free to the visitor center, but you will need to purchase a pass to visit the fort. Children 15 years old and under are free. The passes can be bought ahead of time on recreation.gov or at the Fort McHenry Visitor Center. A military pro tip: military get a free annual pass to every national park in the U.S. Just talk to the ranger and they can hook you up with your free pass. There are free entrance days to the park if you aren't military. Just go to recreation.gov or Fort McHenry's site to see which days are free. There's plenty of parking at the Fort McHenry Visitor Center, and it's free. As far as dogs go, although we didn't take Roxy, dogs are allowed on the grounds, but not allowed in the fort. This site was very kid-friendly and an easy walk for our little kids. We homeschool our kids, so this was a great way for our kids to learn about the Star Spangled Banner and American history. Our kids also like to do the Junior Ranger National Park Challenges to earn their Junior Ranger badges. The Junior Ranger Challenges are a great way to keep your kids engaged and learning. And to be honest, Larissa and I learned a lot as well. Talk to any National Park Ranger and they will get your kids started. During the American Revolution, a small earthen star fort known as Fort Whetstone was constructed at the end of the peninsula that led to the entrance of the Baltimore harbor. Although the fort was never attacked during the American Revolution, military experts saw the importance of coastal defenses around the young United States' third largest city and one of its vital ports. In 1798, construction began to expand upon Fort Whetstone with brick and stone masonry to create a new, more permanent structure. The new fort was dubbed Fort McHenry, named after George Washington's Secretary of War and Baltimore native, James McHenry. Fort McHenry was completed in 1803 and became the home of the 1st Light Artillery Unit of the United States. On June 18, 1812, the United States declared war on England following several disputes around free trade and sailors' rights. Fort McHenry's role became even more vital in 1813 when British forces entered the Chesapeake Bay and began a campaign of terror in the region. In August of 1814, disaster struck the American forces when they were humiliated at Bladensburg and British forces captured and burned Washington, D.C. With D.C. falling, eyes then turned to Baltimore as the English forces' next target became clear. In September of 1814, 5,000 British soldiers landed northeast of the city and halted outside of hastily constructed earthworks. The British Navy was needed to come into the Baltimore harbor to support the attack. Standing in its way was Fort McHenry and its 1,000 defenders. On September 13, 1814, the most powerful navy in the world sent a force of bomb and rockets to dislodge the defenders from their fortifications. For 25 hours, bombs and rockets rained on Fort McHenry, but on the morning of September 14th, when the smoke and fog cleared, the defenders were still there, forcing the British land and sea forces to withdraw, unable to take the city. A lawyer by the name of Francis Scott Key witnessed the bombardment and was so inspired that he wrote a poem called The Defense of Fort McHenry, which was later put to music and renamed the Star Spangled Banner. During the Civil War, Fort McHenry served as a prison following the battles of Antietam and Gettysburg. When the United States entered the First World War in 1917, the site found new purpose and became General Hospital No. 2, with over 100 buildings and 3,000 hospital beds. Following the closure of General Hospital No. 2, the U.S. Army began restoring the fort to its mid-19th century appearance. In 1931, the Star-Spangled Banner became the national anthem of the United States, breathing new life into the need to preserve Fort McHenry. In 1933, the site was transferred to the National Park Service, and in 1939, the site was re-designated as a National Monument and Historic Shrine, the first and only of its kind. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Baker CRUzin. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and continue to follow the many adventures of the Baker crew. And until next time, we'll see y'all later.